Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi friends, we meet again. Today, Miss Diane here is going to present a lesson from science, from botany to be exact. What is it? It's about staple food. So what are staple foods, you think? Staple foods are the basic foods that are important around the world. They are eaten in routine, maybe like in daily basis, and also should make up the largest part of a meal. And the price of these foods are relatively cheap, not too expensive, and can supply a good amount of energy for our body. So we have the energy to do things, to do our activities. Okay, next. The main staple foods are actually from certain types of grass, which are extremely important as foods. You know, when I said grass, I didn't mean that it's the kind of grass that you can find in the park or in the garden, not that kind of grass, yeah. But these types of grass are wheat, rice, and corn. So they are the main staple food eaten by people all around the world. First, we're going to talk about wheat. Wheat is a grass that grows about just over 1 meter tall. The leaves are long and thin. You can see that? The leaves. And it is the staple food for 1/3 of the world's inhabitants. So 1/3 of the people in this world. And most wheat is ground or milled to make flour for bread, pasta, and also pastry. Yummy. I love bread, pasta, and pastry. Okay. And then the second type of grass is rice. Rice is a grass with long and narrow leaves that grow from 60 until 180 centimeters tall. Some varieties grow in dry climates, but the varieties grown in Asia and Africa grow best when their roots are underwater. Now you can still see it here, right? You can still see it in Puncak area or Bogor area. You can still find the rice field, right? Paddy field. When the farmer they're growing the rice with their roots under the water, yeah. So these varieties grow in paddies or it means flooded fields. Rice is a staple food for half the people in the world. Wow, half of the people in the world eat rice. And it's eaten mainly in Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Next is corn. Corn, also called maize, is generally a larger, sturdier plant than rice and wheat. It has long, narrow leaves, a strong stem, and about 2 meters tall. Corn is the staple food source for some people who live in Africa. So this is the staple food that most of people in Africa eat. So they usually cook a corn porridge for their meal. Corn is also still the staple food for some Indonesian people who live in some villages in East Java, like some areas in East Java, like in Madura. Okay. There are also some plants which can be used as staple food. So not only those three main staple foods that I mentioned before. What were those? Do you still remember? Yes, you're right. Wheat, rice, and corn. But we can also use other plants as our staple foods. Some people in this world, they use other plants beside those three main staple food that I mentioned before. Okay, here it is. Potatoes. You know how how often we use potatoes, right? To replace the rice, to substitute the rice. Um, we can cook potatoes and make French fries. Yummy. Mashed potatoes and baked potatoes. And then cassava, or in Bahasa singkong. Some people in the small villages in West Java, they still um, eat cassava as their staple food, as their main meal every day. Like in here, here is beras singkong. It's a meal called beras singkong. It's not from rice, but it's from cassava actually. And look at that at the bottom, the picture of a cassava plant. The cassava that just has been harvested. Okay, and then sago. Sago, we can find sago in Maluku and Papua. So, has anyone here been to Papua or Maluku? Yeah. Have you ever tasted bubur papeda? Bubur papeda is made from sago. You see this one? It's not glue, yeah, although it looks like glue, but it's not glue. But I think it's kind of sticky. And just like rice, you don't just eat bubur papeda just like that. You have to add with some, fish. Like in here, there's fish and also some veggies, some vegetables. The fish meal that they usually eat with bubur papeda is called ikan kuah kuning. Sounds yummy. And it looks also yummy. And at the bottom, that is the picture of sago. Actually, I have it at school in my class. So when all of this is over, hopefully soon, then we can meet one another again at school. I will show you how it looks like, how sago looks like. Okay. So that was the end of my presentation about staple foods. And I have assignment for you to do. For grade 1, draw 3 main staple foods. Do you still remember? Yes, wheat, rice, and corn on a piece of paper. And then label or write down the name under each drawing. So for example, you draw rice first, right? You can draw the uncooked one and also the cooked one. And under the drawing, you write down the name, rice. Okay? You understand? Good. And grade 2, write down a simple recipe using one of the staple foods. For example, cassava. Maybe you can ask your mom, your dad, or your grandparents, what recipe can you make from one of the staple foods, like from wheat, rice, and corn. And it doesn't have to be from those 3 main staple foods. Can also be from other staple foods, like from sago maybe, or from cassava, or from potatoes. And then grade 3, you're also going to write down a simple recipe using one of the staple foods. Doesn't have to be from the main one or from the 3 main staple foods. No, it can be from other staple foods. And then please try out the recipe at home with your parents. And take a picture of you and your meal and send it to us. For example, you choose rice as one of the staple food that you are going to make a simple recipe from. And what are you going to make from rice? Maybe fried rice, nasi goreng. Yum. Or maybe lemper or lontong. Up to you. Okay? Okay. And after that, you can upload your assignment in classwork section. But if you have difficulties uploading it, please do not hesitate to ask the teachers. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.